This is our fifth, is it the fifth? Yeah, this is our fifth video in our series about Dutch whaling in the 17th century. In this video we're going to take a look at how they actually hunted the whale. The Dutch utilized two types of whaling. One was with kapitaalschepen, capital ships. These were larger vessels with larger crews. And a big part of the crew also worked the whaling station. These ships would hunt along the coastline near the whaling stations, and the whales would be processed on land at the whaling stations. The other type of hunting would be done with smaller, more maneuverable ships with more specialized crews. These will be classified as hunters or jagers in Dutch. And these would hunt on the open seas. These were also often called sea fishers. In the beginning of the 17th century, most Dutch whaling ships were of the fluit type. And you can always recognize a whaling ship by the large beam that's placed near the stern of the ship, that's used to hang the whaling sloops on for quick deployment. And you can also often recognize the Dutch whaling ship by a whaling flag. That's just a normal, typical Dutch tricolour flag, but with a whale in the white portion. The image of the whale can differ from ship to ship, and it doesn't seem to have been standardized in any way. In the second half of the 17th century, a new ship design came along for whaling, het bootschip, the boat ship. These had a broader deck than the earlier fluitschepen, or the earlier fluit ships, which made it easier to process the whale and process the whale blubber on deck. And now we're going to take a look at the actual process of hunting and killing the whale. When a lookout from either land or from the mast of a ship spots a whale, he shouts val val, or fall fall in English. And at that point, immediately 3 sloops are deployed into the water. Each sloop is manned by at least 6 men, among whom 1 helmsman and 1 harpooner. These men have been assigned to their own sloop, and along the way from the Netherlands to the hunting grounds, they have trained with this sloop to be as effective as possible when a whale is finally spotted. They will row to the whale as fast as they can, but also as quiet as they can, because if the whale is spooked, it will dive under and it will escape. They also needed to make sure they didn't come too close to the tail of the whale, because one hit of the tail could send a sloop flying. The harpooner in the first sloop to reach the whale will throw his harpoon. The favorite spot to hit the whale was just behind the pectoral fin. Once the whale is hit, it will dive under. The harpoon is connected to a rope. The rope is up to 360 meters long. When the whale dives under and drags the rope down, it rapidly starts to uncoil and drags over the side of the whaling sloop. This goes with such an incredible speed that the wood on the space where the rope is dragged over starts to smoke and needs to be continuously cooled by the men in the boat by pouring water over it. There is always one man next to the barrel with an axe. He keeps an eye on the rope and makes sure it doesn't tangle, because if it tangles, he immediately needs to cut the rope. Because if he doesn't, there's a high chance of the boat getting flipped because of the force at which the whale is dragging the rope down. And he also makes sure that the rope is not running out. If there's a chance of the rope running out, there's a sign given to one of the other sloops that will give their line to the first sloop. When a whale dives down in a panicked state, like when it gets hit with a harpoon, it can't stay down long, and it has to come back up to get air relatively soon. When it comes back up again, the sloops start chasing the whale again, and a second harpoon is thrown. Then it dives back under again, and when it comes back up, no more harpoons are thrown. Now they start throwing whaling lances. There are 2 types of whaling lances. You have throwable whaling lances that are like the harpoon, but without the barbs. These parts are the barbs that make sure that the harpoon sticks inside the whale. They're also connected with a rope, so they can be thrown and they can be pulled out and dragged back. There are also stabbing lances. They are used when the whale is tired out and the sloops can get right up to the whale. These are stabbed deep into the whale, as deep as they can. They are moved around, and when a mixture of blood and water comes out of the blowhole of the whale, then the sloops take distance, because then the whale starts to convulse and spasm, and then it's at its most dangerous to the sloops, and then it slowly dies. When the whale has finally died, they will tie the sloops end to end with a piece of rope and slowly drag the whale back to the whaling station or back to the ship. If they need to row for a long distance, they will cut off the tail and the pectoral fins to reduce drag. I hope you liked this video. If you have any questions about any of our videos, please leave them in the comments. We appreciate everyone for watching our content, and as always, now we're going to look at a coin spin.